Good morning, Sunday morning. All right, I'm gonna read an article that is not getting anywhere near enough traction, and definitely should be getting more traction. And basically, I'm just gonna read through this. I mean, it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be talked about a lot. So this week, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat of Hawaii, and Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, introduced House Resolution 1162, a resolution calling for the federal government to drop all charges against Edward Snowden, a whistleblower who exposed illegal and unconstitutional acts of mass surveillance of Americans by the United States government. We continue to see attacks on American civil liberties by aggressive surveillance policies within our own government, trading on the fears of the American people. This occurred under both Democratic and Republican administrations, while a few brave whistleblowers came forward to lift the curtain of the constitutional threats we faced. Edward Snowden has been persecuted for bravely exposing massive illegal government surveillance of all Americans, a finding backed up by U.S. courts as recently as last month. Meanwhile, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper lied to Congress, saying this program did not exist and suffered no consequence whatsoever, said Representative Tulsi Gabbard. All charges against Edward Snowden should be dropped. We need to protect whistleblowers, not the powerful elite. Edward Snowden has been unfairly villainized and persecuted for disclosing the true scope of illegal government surveillance. This is unjust. The Ninth Circuit recent rulings holding that the NSA's bulk collection program was unconstitutional vindicates him. Charges against Snowden should be dropped, said Representative Matt Gaetz. If anyone deserves to face punishment, it should be James Clapper, who lied under oath about the NSA's data collection activities and has never been charged. And the background for this is the NSA program that secretly and illegally collected phone records of millions of Americans was exposed by Edward Snowden, who leaked details about it to the press. The program began under President George W. Bush and continued under President Obama. In 2015, the program was officially terminated when Congress passed the USA Freedom Act. That bill created a new mechanism where phone providers retained their data instead of turning it over to the government. Representative Gabbard also introduced a bill, House Resolution 8452, the Protect Brave Whistleblowers Act, which would enable whistleblowers charged with crimes for violating the Espionage Act to have a fair path towards justice. Snowden has been charged with violations of the Espionage Act, and under this legislation would be able to speak to his intent or motive for releasing information about the government, which is currently prohibited by law. Representative Tulsi Gabbard has been a consistent champion of whistleblowers throughout her time in Congress. She has previously spoken in support of Julian Assange and applauded a ruling by the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which determined that the warrantless telephone surveillance program that secretly collected phone records of millions of Americans violated the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The NSA program in question was exposed by Edward Snowden, who leaked details about it to the press. In August, she was joined at a press conference by 3 medical experts, including a Department of Health employee whistleblower, exposing the lies coming from the Department of Health leadership regarding contact tracing efforts in Hawaii. She has continued to demand answers and transparency from the state after the whistleblower's exposure. And then it goes on to talk about some more stuff about Tulsi Gabbard, which she should have been the Democrats. She should have been the Democratic nominee for president. It would have been the first time ever in my life that I voted for a Democrat who I did not personally know. And even those I have trouble voting for, sorry. But the government spies on us on a consistent basis. And anytime somebody comes out and says anything about it and actually calls them for it, that person then is a traitor to the country and is subjected to going to jail or has to flee the country and hide from its own government for telling the people that the government is screwing us over and spying on us and doing all this illegal, unconstitutional shit. It's a mockery and it's an embarrassment. This is the stuff that would start a revolution and should start a revolution. And it gets swept under the rug. Like, nobody's paying attention to this. Nobody's talking about this. Mainstream media is too busy talking about Trump not denouncing white supremacists at the debate when he's been denouncing white supremacists for the past 4 years, and to the point that I made a post about it this morning. Richard Spencer, the guy who organized the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, came out in a gathering or a rally with David Duke, the head of the KKK, right there on the stage with him, and said that they would support Joe Biden and gave their backing to Joe Biden because Trump and the Republicans do not fit the criteria of what they want to do as an organization. Like, so we're talking about that same shit that's been debunked and disproven and addressed multiple times for 4 years, and we're not talking about the fact that there is actual legislation on the table to hold these bureaucrats and these politicians accountable for spying on us. Spying on us. Call your congressman, write your congressman, email your congressman, blow them up. This needs to go to the floor, and it needs to get voted on, and it needs to get passed, because these people that are serving the United States public and actually have American citizens in mind and are exposing the garbage that the government is doing, they need to be allowed to do it, and they should not be held or they should not be charged and treated as criminals when they do it. That's all I got. Have a good day.